so much of Gecko Robotics' focus now is in this part of the world, obviously the major energy hub of the world, but at the same time, the prospects for the business also very closely tied to ADNOC. So explain that relationship for me moving forward. Obviously a critical partner at this juncture, but how deep do you want that relationship to go?
Well, the relationship is one that I personally have grown really close with the executives that lead this incredible company that's surging not just in terms of their effectiveness and their business and the reporting you can see from the earnings, but also, more importantly, it's very clear with my meetings with the chief executives, not just the chief executive of ADNOC Group, but also the executives that lead the different opcos, that there is a true desire and ambition to be the world leaders in AI and robotics. And that cannot happen, Dan, unless there is a presence, unless there is robotics companies and AI companies building locally to ensure that we build pragmatic technology and not just continue to postulate about the potential for it. One thing you've also realized, and I think the leaders at ADNOC know this in particular, is that the data sets we assume exist to be able to build and have impactful changes that come from artificial intelligence. And we become so familiar, and we expect that because we live in the world on the computer or the internet. But what's true in the physical world is that a lot of this information and data simply doesn't exist to build the right sorts of data platforms to take advantage of digitization and artificial intelligence. And so we talk about agentic tools and systems, AI agents, but what's critical to understand is that information and data is necessary at high fidelity and lots of it to be able to drive those engines. The fuel is the data. And so what Gecko Robotics was completely focused on for ADNOC is ensuring that the high-octane fuel, the best fuel, exists to be able to power the engine that is the energy sector here.
Talk to me about business plans moving forward, and real talk here, Jake. Do you see a future where Gecko Robotics becomes part of ADNOC's in-house technology ecosystem?
Yeah, I think what's exciting is that there's not just technologies that we're building for ADNOC, but there's a incredible tools that we're leveraging and utilizing here in the region that we've been building in other countries, in the U.S. in particular, that we're able to leverage here to speed up how quickly we can develop and integrate good things for customers in this region. But also what we're focused on is going very deep with the problems that exist within the energy companies here in the Emirates as well as in the region, and building tools that can be sold and leveraged by companies all around the world. What's really important to understand is these past 100 days of the administration, there's been a lot of uncertainty in the markets. But for Gecko, it's actually been the fastest and most incredible growth that the company's ever gone through. And so there might be some sort of correlation there, but I think what's mostly true is that the technology stacks that we have been building are compounding in value and impact. At the very moment when energy manufacturing, minerals, defense, et cetera, are the exact markets where AI and robotics are having the most incredible impacts. And the companies that adopt that the quickest and become AI and robotics first companies are the ones that are going to win. And the ones that aren't are going to have a very severe drop-off.
Are IPO discussions back on the table? I think this is a conversation that continues to circle around the business, particularly as you scale here in the Middle East. Is that something you're looking at?
Yeah, we don't really get into the IPO conversation. Mostly what now we're focused on ensuring that we go exceptionally deep with creating impact for customers. And I think there's never been a company that's been built like Gecko before. It's early investors. They were laughed at as being crazy for investing in a company that builds software platforms off the backs of robots that feed information and data sets into it. That's a crazy concept, especially when you're dealing with the sectors of energy, manufacturing, and defense. These sectors that you weren't supposed to be investing in 2016 and beyond, and now they're sexy. And so what's critical to understand is that what we're doing is there's no other company that's trying to build software the way we are. And that gives us a huge advantage. And I don't want to give up that advantage from being private too early. But you can anticipate being public, at sometime in the next Yeah, and sometimes the next few years.
Okay, so looking at an IPO in the next few years, really interesting. Jake, before I let you go, just speaking to a top-line trend that you mentioned before, I want your take on this as well. Drill, baby, drill, obviously good for business. You have an oil and gas-friendly administration stateside, and that has a trickle-down effect around the world, obviously a tailwind for companies like yours. President Trump expected to visit the region next week. Do you expect more US tech firms, indeed global tech firms, to follow Gecko's lead and invest in this part of the world as a result?
Yeah, it's a great question, Dan, and the visit is causing a lot of excitement, obviously, as you know, in the region. And I was just in D.C. And spending a lot of time near the administration as it relates to not just on the defense side, but also largely what is all the investments into the U.S. mean, and what is the bridges that are being built in places like the Emirates. And I think one thing that's very true is that the ambition to be the leaders in artificial intelligence and robotics in particular, but also other sectors, there is a huge initiative and effort that I'm just seeing from the top execs and founders that I talk to, and then from in the region, so much excitement about bringing in folks, making a friendly environment. I think there's still a lot of work to do to make it as friendly and as easy of a decision that some of the European countries have as it relates to becoming and moving to the region and building. But I think what is true is that the ambitions there, getting the environment correct, is something that I hope this visit to the administration can help to foster. But what I'm seeing is that Trump 1 is picking up just Trump 2 is picking up right where Trump 1 left off, as it relates to the relationships and the ties between the United Emirates, Arab Emirates, and the U.S.